if the Celtics do go down here, let's say they lose in 6 or 7, what do we say about Tatum? I mean, this has been a horrible series for Tatum. I know
It's
he hit
horrible.
some shots later on in this game here and there, but fourth quarter, no show. There's nobody leading. There's no leading right now on this team. Who's taking the reins? I know everyone's like, "Oh, Jaylen Brown's your MVP, your Finals MVP." Okay, yeah, mostly by default. I mean, there's nobody that's really put the team on their back here, and let's prove to everyone why we belong in the NBA Finals. It's beating themselves.
It's rough.
So
It's rough. The Tatum question's a really
no
good one
leaders,
because
man.
people are going to be really torn here. Because what's interesting is, like, statistically, some of his better games have all
But
resulted
you gotta
in losses.
watch the game. Yeah.
You got to watch the game. When you look at the box score results, if you look at the 3 losses, you're going to see what looks to be kind of a more robust sort of Jaylen Brown game, and it's just not. It's not really.
Bad turnovers, some stupid decisions, some shots that they took were just like, what are you doing?
I mean, again, you're talking about, Tatum plays almost the whole fourth quarter minus, garbage time where he sits. He's 1 for 5, with a turnover and, misses 2 free throws, minus 15 in his stint in the fourth quarter, absolutely dreadful. And in the first quarter, he goes 9.5 minutes. He makes 3 shots, but that was all coming in off the bench. That first wave where he played the first 6 minutes, dreadful. Then he came in and he got a little hot there after he sat down. But just a really rough start and a rough finish for him. Only consistent player, I think, was Rob tonight. But I mean, that's only going to do you so much. And, he didn't really do all that much in terms of rim protection. Most of the shots that went over him kind of just went over him.
22 points off turnovers for Warriors tonight.
Could have been more. They did not capitalize on all of their opportunities at all. They didn't, and they shot poorly as well. I mean, the Warriors played an ass game.
They still ended up with 22.
Warriors played a C- game. You played a D- game.
Yep. For sure.
But that's all of that stuff is, what happens when Tatum's having his bad games and turning it over. Everyone's like, the ball's got to be in Jaylen's hands. And we talked about it. Does it? Like, that's the problem is they're like, that's what's going to happen. Jaylen has it, turned it over twice, almost turned it over a third time. That's it.
Right. Oh yeah. Like back to back, I think it was.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, pick your poison, right?
That's what I mean. There's nobody, like there's that presence that you need in a big game like this that's going to settle the troops down, get everybody reacclimated, get back on the same page. Whatever word you want to say for get your shit together, figure it out, take a deep breath, go to calm.com if you have to, and just do your thing. The Celtics are talented enough to be in the position that they're in. But when they completely lose sight of how they got here, they look like just another team that's running around with their heads cut off.
I tweeted in the first half, Jimmy, that it looked like 5 guys at the Y who'd never met before.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Like nothing. Just crazy to me.
I am that guy at the Y who has no idea what.
Hey, yeah. What position do you play? Do you handle the ball? All right, you run point.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a wing. I'm not a great shooter, but
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, again, fair or not fair, the series is going to come down to a referendum on Tatum and Brown, and that's what it's all going to be. So
I think that's fair.
I hate doing that. And like I said, I hate doing that because my opinion of Tatum and Brown is not changing because of these games. It's not. It's
but
not.
I think it could. I think mine could have changed with like really strong performances.
Yes, I think right. If Tatum manned up and like carried them and was a star, yeah, I'd say you might you're right. It might have changed up. It wasn't going to revise. It wasn't going to revise down. Any questions or concerns I have about Tatum or Brown, I would have regardless of whether they win. And if they knock off the next 2 games and both those guys play well, it's not going to change it. I think generally I feel the same way both. But if they go down in flames and they play this poorly again and they lose in 6 and they get run here with 3 straight after having a 2-1 series lead and really a chance to lock this thing up with a 3-1 lead at home, and they piss that away. If they get run,
they're going to hear about it.
It's going to be all about those guys. Fair or not fair. I'm not sure what you guys in the chat think. Jimmy thinks it's fair.
I think it's
you're going to start to question. You're going to have the defense. The defense of those guys is going to be like, and again, I've heard this a ton on Twitter and people yell at me and stuff like that. Like, it's not fair. They're younger. Look at these guys. They didn't do it till this and that. And that's not entirely wrong, but you're going to question whether or not you're going to do it here, like whether or not they're going to be, how different they're going to be. I think always the feeling with the guys is continued growth and improvement, both in terms of what they can do on their court and their skill set, and their maturity, and the way that they handle things. That's not assured, that's not certain. And Bobby's written about it and we've talked about it. How much of this stuff is baked in, like who's your leader right now? Who's the guy who says, get on my back, boys? Like, I don't know. And again, I know that's kind of cliche sort of stuff. Really, at the end of the day, you just want guys to play, but that's going to be the story.
Totally. That is going to be the story. And again, it goes back to these guys get praise when they lead the team in one direction. They're going to get criticism when it goes the other way.
You can't call them good and say that they're ready and who would you rather want than these guys, and then have them puke on themselves and not point it out. And is it all their fault? No. God, no. It's not right now. The lack of roster depth is showing, limitations, both with Al being older and Rob being less than 100%. Marcus is less than 100%. Marcus is not playing great right now. He
hasn't been great since the injury.
You're getting nothing out of your bench. Derek White had a rough game. Of course, it's not all on those guys, but you're the stars, and that's it. And so when things go bad, that's even more when people look to you. When you're not getting contributions from everyone else, that's when you need those big time performances.
Right. See, that's the thing that Jayson, I think at some point he's got to figure that out. I agree with you, John, most nights that he doesn't need to be top 5 Tatum in order for this team to win. But there comes a point in games when you look at your bench and you see Derek White has one more point than all three of us combined. Yep. You're getting nothing from Grant Williams. Peyton Pritchard can't hit open or contested shots. And Jalen is struggling. I mean, he's got, at one point in the first half, when Draymond Green had twice as many points as Jaylen Brown, you knew you were struggling. And that's when, if you're Tatum, you got to go into takeover Tatum mode at that point. And I thought he came out in the third quarter. I thought you saw glimpses of that. But the way that they were playing, he needed to keep that going.
Yeah.
I thought he got to the point where he's like, okay, I'm reminding you all that I'm pretty freaking awesome. Let me get my teammates involved. And then it's just like, no.
At that point, I wanted to see him heat check it until he missed.
You put the team on your back. You go Cedric Maxwell and say, get on my back, fellas. I got you.
Yeah.
And he didn't do that. And it's you look at his numbers, and again, it's hard to be too critical because the dude had a double-double before the fourth quarter even started. But when you're the best player on your team and your team is not getting it done, you have to just grab those guys by the necks and say, get the hell on my back. I'm going to carry us home, and we're going to put this thing away in Boston game 6. And that never happened. That never happened. And again, I don't. If you're Ime, it's like, how much more can you ask and expect of Jayson Tatum? I would have kept priming that pump until I couldn't get any more.
Yep. Keep going. Yeah. That was my thought too.
The main playmakers, whether it's Tatum, whether it's Marcus, or whether it's Brown, they stacked up the most. So against this Warriors team,
I'm not going to them though tonight because what happened here was they reached the point where they just had nothing around them. Smart couldn't get it done. White, Grant off the bench was dreadful. I thought he set the whole tone for that collapse with his 2 back-to-back
Bobby, they combined for
there.
damn near 15 turnovers, man. It's like, that's a lot.
I mean, that they're doing the brunt of the work, so they're gonna have the higher numbers there. But who would you look to if you're them and trust in this spot based off how everybody else was playing?
Doesn't matter. You have no choices. You can't change the script now. Okay, you have it is what it is. Even in the first, when they couldn't hit a 3, I'm thinking to myself, keep driving the lane. Keep kicking to open shooters. Just keep doing it. That's it. There's no other solution. There's no magic pill. You know what doesn't work? anything else, like just dribbling into traffic, trying to get sneaky with it. Like it doesn't work. Okay. So you have to do that. That's how they're making you beat them. You have to do it. You have to just be more decisive and get your shots up quick or get to the basket quick. As Ime said, rise up every once in a while for a mid-range, which they didn't do ever. Again, and I know it's not, Bobby, we've debated percentages here. You're just not seeing a lot of free throw jumpers here. You're seeing them try to get deep on their drives or looking to kick to shooters. That's all they're doing. But Tatum, when Tatum found a little something, and what they're doing, they're overplaying them on the right. They're bringing in a second help defender to kind of force them further away from the basket. And for most of the time, Celtics are trying to dribble around that, and it gets
they
further
were doing
and
that
further
floating
away.
again, John. We talked
And
about
it drives you crazy.
Today.
Again, it drives me crazy. It's like, you're going further away from the basket. But when Tatum finally did get it going, what happened? He's like, okay, Porter's camped out on my right hand and a screen is coming. I'm just going to step left, rise up and shoot. And he friggin' hit those threes in that 10-0 run. That's what the game gives you. You have to be able to take that. You can't just force whatever it is that you want to have happen.
Again, I didn't think Tatum was terrible tonight. Like I thought he made
wasn't
some good
terrible,
decisions, especially out of halftime. Yeah,
the third quarter,
he wasn't terrible. He wasn't terrible, Bobby, but that's not the barometer of Jayson Tatum. Oh, he wasn't terrible. You need him to be a first-team All-NBA player in Game 5 of the NBA Finals, and if he isn't,
especially
it's worthy of discussing why he isn't and why he hasn't.
He was almost as good as Andrew Wiggins tonight.
Right. So if that's
the fact
what you want to grade
John,
him on,
that sentence
I know.
says everything. That says everything, right?
That's why I
John's
said
lead.
it.
Almost.
That's John's lead for his next column.
Almost as good as Andrew Wiggins.
Because at best, Tatum was maybe the third or fourth best player in this game.
Wiggins has been better than Tatum in the last couple games.
Yeah, Tatum didn't have a bad game, Bobby. And his third quarter, he was making really good reads, kind of whipping balls out to open shooters.
That helped him so much.
But that was the bulk of it. He knocked down a couple shots early. He had that miserable start, came in off of that first rest, knocked down 3 straight shots, which was good. And then he had that stretch in the third quarter, and that was really the bulk of his contributions. And then, kind of disappeared again in the fourth. Everything he shot came up short. He was trying to force it in against Wiggins. He had more turnovers. It just wasn't, at that point.
Beat him up.
Yeah, Wiggins locked him up in the fourth. So you're just talking about one-on-one and what was needed, and your offense goes stagnant. And he got beat. He got outplayed.